very hard to defend and
I want to know what you're doing about the genocide in Gaza. You're working.
welcome people who disagree or are maybe even super pissed off at me for any issue to come. But we have some ground rules here, which is that please wait to the Q&A because we don't want to deprive all of our neighbors of the ability to have information and hear things and respond.
With constituents. We do have an overflow room where we'll have it projected if you'd like to come inside the gymnasium. We don't have a ton of seating in there, but there is some seating. There's plenty of space, just not seating necessarily for everybody. We're still going to have to check you in, so we'll get through you as quickly as we can after we're done with the constituent line. But unlikely that any non-constituents are going to fit in the main room or at capacity. Okay? We can get you a seat in the overflow. Well, Rosamond.
Not everybody, but huge amounts of people are on medication. A lot of people don't know. If you could guess, out of every baby that is born today in the United States, 40% of them are covered by Medicaid. Huge amounts. 30% of Medicaid disbursements go to people who receive Medicare. And so people think that these programs are these small little things. Medicaid is one of the largest sources of health. Of course, immigration, this is an issue that is very near about your status or your family status. We are able to process things. We will not share any information. If we need to do an inquiry on your case, we will ask for that permission to do so, and we have been able to clear up a lot of casework and a lot of issues in people's status through my office. So if you know someone that you think or they feel like they're hiding in the shadows, that they're afraid, that they don't know who to reach out to, that they either maybe have lost their status through some sort of missed deadline or something like that, please encourage them to reach out to our office. We have a great track record, and we are very, very often able to help people get on the right track, regularize their status, or figure out what their options are. That being said, the Trump administration, they like to say, and this is what Trump ran on, right? He said, we're only going to go after the quote-unquote criminals. Yeah, exactly. We're only going to go after the quote-unquote criminals. However, their position is that everyone undocumented is a criminal. That's what they think. They think that the DACA recipient, that the baby that was here from 2 years old, whose only country they have ever known is the United States, that maybe has served in this country, or now is a doctor, is a quote-unquote criminal. They think that folks who are undocumented are that. But on top of that, they're not even just going after undocumented people. They are making people undocumented by revoking legal status. And they are starting that with TPS, something known as Temporary Protected Status and Parole Programs. That is an area in which people that have where there's huge amounts of political or other kinds of instability at home, the United States agreed to officially create almost like a legal status by which people from those areas fleeing some of the harshest conditions in the world can come to the United States and offer for status. In fact, we fought for TPS for Venezuelan refugees not too long ago. And they are canceling TPS programs. So people who are here lawfully, they are canceling these TPS programs to make them undocumented in order to go after them. So this is not about quote-unquote, illegal immigration. This is anti-immigration. And it is very important that we understand that and cut through the rhetoric and cut through the nonsense, because they do not talk about why America is great or making America great. Our civil liberties and our civil protections are part of what makes America great. It is our democracy. Our Constitution and eliminate due process. It is one of the most. It's attacking what it means to be an American, and it is eroding and degrading what it means to be an American when we rip up our Constitution and due process, and that's exactly what they're doing here. We have, of course, attacks on free speech. We have our own Mahmoud Khalil in Colombia, from a Colombia student who was detained and is detained. And we've been in close contact with his family and advocacy for his case in order to release him from the Louisiana detention center that he is in. But the only grounds in which he was detained was him exercising his free speech in order to advocate for Palestinian human rights and to end the war in Gaza. And we have to make sure that we are advocating for him and agitating for his release. We recently had another student in Vermont that we were able to successfully advocate for his release. He is out on bail. That happened this week, and we are hoping to be able to do the same thing. I know that my office is personally tasked and assigned with that case. Mahmoud was a Columbia student, but our office has been able to take the lead on that case for the New York City. And if they don't show you a warrant, you can say you can come back with a warrant. You have the right to turn them away unless they have the proper paperwork or are coming in the proper way. And when we first did one of these seminars, Tom Homan, then acting director of ICE, said that he was going to threaten to refer me to the DOJ because I'm using my free speech rights in order to advise people of their constitutionally guaranteed protections, and he may want to do it again today. And to that I say, come for me.
How are you combating such craziness, Harris, F1 visas?
So, a lot of this has to do, I think, there's different kinds of ways to approach Trump. I think a lot of times people have seen, perhaps felt the Democratic Party being a little on its back foot in the Trump administration. And I think it's because there are multiple ways to address Trump. And oftentimes, there are a lot of people who think that we need to lean on institutions and rules and processes in order to roll back and resist everything that the Trump administration is doing. And it's not to say that those things should be abandoned, because sometimes we do win. We are able to turn some of these things over in court. We are able to roll some of these things back. But also, we can't rely on rules with a rule breaker. And that we have to get creative, and it really does mean that with a reality TV show president, that public opinion matters. Public opinion really does matter. And when we're able to be on our offense with some of these folks, and we're able to turn the public tide, then we are sometimes able to get and secure some changes and some rollbacks in what they are planning to do. And so I think we need to have, and this has been to our point here, what we did 6 years ago, both an inside and outside strategy. And sometimes I think existing, it has leaned too much on an inside strategy with not enough of an outside strategy. And it's very important that we be organizing and educating people right now. So on the point with tariffs, these tariffs are going to start to be, I want you all to know, we're going to really start feeling the consequences of these tariffs in about 2 to 4 weeks from now. Because in terms of our supply chain, and
Tell me in a few words why it's important for you to be here today.
I think it's important because people need to understand what it is to even be in these town halls, start asking questions, start being more involved. People are more scared, people are not knowledgeable. They're not even knowledgeable. People don't even know what it is to start working together as a team.
And as a community.
As a community to come together and start fighting back.
And just bringing more awareness, because we need more of this. We need more of us coming out here to talk, to fight, to speak, say what's going on. They need to hear from us what's happening.
What's the important questions that you personally want to ask?
How we get rid of Trump?
That's the main one, right?
How do we get rid of him?
How?
That's it.
How is it that he's allowed to do all of this without...
He's not living by the Constitution. It means nothing to him. How he gets away with it? Why is he getting away with it?
Why is he getting away with all of this? If it was any other president, this would not happen. You know, if Harris would have won, and if she would have been doing any of this, do you think people would have been standing for it? No. People would have been fighting back.
Thank you. Can I get